Ukrainian specialists plan to restore power supply within 1 month in the liberated Kherson. The Russian occupiers have destroyed the entire energy system in the regional center in the south of Ukraine. Emergency services have already arrived in the city and people still continue to celebrate the liberation from the Russian invaders. There are still not enough medicines and food in the liberated city, but humanitarian supplies are already entering the city, local authorities say. There are about 80,000 people in Kherson as of today.
We will talk about humanitarian catastrophe. The situation is difficult because the Russian occupiers and collaborators did everything possible so that those people who remained in the city experience these days, weeks and even months of waiting as harsh as possible. And now there is a critical shortage of water. First of all, because there is practically no water supply in the city. Roman Holovnya, advisor to the mayor of Kherson, on the air of the national telethon.
The Ukrainian defenders have almost completely liberated the Mykolaiv region, except for the Kinburn Spit. The head of the regional military administration, Vitaly Kim, reported earlier. Residents of the region have problems with water supply, but according to Kim, the water pipeline is already under control of the armed forces of Ukraine, and there is demining ahead. After the Russian attack on November the 11th, which destroyed 5 floors of a residential building and took the lives of 7 people, the mayor of Mykolaiv said that the more defeats Russia had, the stronger the terror became.
I don't think that the situation with the withdrawal of the Russian troops to the left bank of the Dnipro will change dramatically for Mykolaiv, because we still remain in the area of action of their missile systems, for example the S-300 missile systems, which have been shelling us for the past 6 months.
9,000 houses have been connected to electricity in the liberated territories of the Kharkiv region, and thousands of residents already have gas, the Kharkiv Regional Military Administration reports. All restoring work continues. The train services is resumed, communications are being repaired, and civil and critical infrastructure is being reconstructed in the territories liberated from the Russian occupiers. The area of the liberated territory of the southern part of Ukraine has increased by more than 3,000 square kilometers. The head of the press center of the Defense Forces South, Natalia Gumanyuk, said on the air of the national telethon. The armed forces of Ukraine do not leave the Russian army a chance to return to their previous positions in any of the directions.
Now we are in the north of the Kharkiv region, in one of the settlements. We are performing the task of covering our units from enemy airstrikes. They strike quite often at this area. Our task is to knock them off.
While Ukrainians are rebuilding their homes, establishing their usual life, the armed forces of Ukraine are deoccupying more and more settlements. Even animals are returning to the liberated territories. The symbolic start of the revival of the famous Kharkiv Eco Park was the new offspring of buffaloes. During the occupation of the Russian army, about 300 different animals have died here. The Russian soldiers shot 5 employees. During the shelling, another teenager was killed, who was helping to evacuate the animals. In memory of the heroism of the employees, monuments are already being prepared, the founder of the Eco Park said.
People were crawling in, literally at the risk of their lives. Can you imagine crawling through such a space? Women and elderly people, they crawled into the cells for animals. Those guys whom we found in a bathroom each had 2 buckets in their heads. One had carrots, and the other had 2 or 3 kilograms of dog food. Russian invaders probably thought those buckets could be weapons, so they killed them.
Full reconstruction continues in the Kyiv region. At the same time, they are ready for defense, increasing the supply of Ukrainian defenders, the head of the military administration, Oleksiy Kuleba, said. The border is also being strengthened in the north of Volyn. Already 3 kilometers of a reinforced concrete wall with wire and other defensive structures separate Ukraine from Belarus, which still allows Russia to use its territory for attacks. According to the office of the president, such a concrete wall on the Ukrainian-Belarusian border will stretch for 217 kilometers. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Yulia Bazborodko, UATV News.